This is the story of a mysterious door, which, once opened, will reveal many secrets. The story begins with John, an architect, who is very happy with his wife, Sera. Everything in their life is going well. John has a colleague who was once his girlfriend, but now he is completely devoted to Sera, who is currently pregnant. One day, while Sera is playing the piano at home, she suddenly experiences severe pain in her stomach. She tries calling John multiple times, but he doesn't answer as he is at the office. Later, when John checks his phone, he sees several missed calls from Sera. He then learns that she has been hospitalized. John rushes to the hospital, only to discover that Sera has had a miscarriage. Both are devastated, as they had dreamed of a future with their child in their home. Sera, now emotionally detached from the house, suggests they move elsewhere. John agrees. Despite looking at many houses, they find none to their liking. Their real estate agent then suggests meeting a friend who might have a solution. She takes them to her friend's house, located slightly outside the city. The house is grand, and its owner, Ahmed, warmly welcomes Sera and John. They find Ahmed's nature appealing as he gives them a tour, explaining how he has been renovating the house for the past 10 years but has never found happiness in it. The only time I felt joy here was when my wife was with me. However, his wife is no longer with him, and he doesn't reveal what happened to her. Ahmed asks why they want to buy a new house. Sera replies, "We want to leave the past behind and start fresh." Ahmed agrees, saying, "Everyone deserves a new beginning." While exploring, they notice several weapons in the house. Ahmed explains, "These were found during the house's excavation, so I kept them." That night, the three of them spend a pleasant evening together. Ahmed suggests, "Stay here tonight." Sera agrees. The next morning, Sera and John wake up to find Ahmed gone, leaving behind a letter. The letter states, "I am willing to give you this house. You can start your new life here. There's only one condition: there is a door in the basement. Never open it. If you do, I will take the house back. But if you follow this rule, the house is yours forever." John and Sera find this strange, but they love the house and want to stay. However, John's mind is filled with questions. What's in the basement? Why are they forbidden to open the door? Sera reassures him, "It doesn't matter what's down there. This house is perfect for us to start over." John agrees. Soon, their real estate agent arrives, already informed by Ahmed. Now settled in their new home, they decide to host a housewarming party, inviting many of their friends. Many of John's friends arrive at the party, including his colleague, who is also his ex-girlfriend. John hadn't invited her, she showed up uninvited. He takes her aside and firmly tells her, "I'm married now, and I'm very happy with my wife. Whatever we had is over." Just then, a man appears outside holding a can of gasoline. His body language and expressions suggest he intends to set himself on fire. Before he can act, John intervenes. The man says, "I used to live in this house too. Before it's too late, end everything." With that, he walks away, leaving John confused. John is filled with questions. Everything seems connected to the basement door. He wants to know what's inside but can't open it, as doing so would mean losing the house. The next day, Sera visits a neighbor, who welcomes her warmly. As Sera leaves, the neighbor cryptically says, "I hope you can last in that house." This suggests others have lived there before, and none have stayed. It also raises a crucial question: why would someone give away such a luxurious house for free? Meanwhile, at work, John's ex-girlfriend falsely accuses him of sexual harassment. The office suspends him pending investigation. John doesn't tell Sera. To keep up appearances, he pretends to leave for work but actually stays home or wanders outside. One day, while on the phone, he finds himself staring at the basement door. John walks up to the basement door, determined to open it and finally see what's inside. As he tries to force it open, he injures his hand. Frustrated, he stops. That night, while having dinner with Sera, he suggests, "Why don't we open the door? Besides, if we do, how would Ahmed even find out?" Sera gets angry and insists, "You need to forget about that basement. It doesn't concern us." But John can't let it go. He is obsessed with discovering what secret Ahmed is hiding. The next day, John studies the house's blueprints and makes a shocking discovery: Ahmed is not the real owner. The house actually belonged to a man named Paul, the same man who appeared outside their house on the night of the party, holding gasoline. The same man who told John, "Before it's too late, end everything." John realizes there is another way to access the basement from inside the house. When Sera is away, he searches for it and soon finds the hidden passage. He reaches a gate that leads directly into the basement, but before he can enter, he hears a car approaching. Sera is back. Quickly, he abandons his plan and leaves. Later, he secretly meets his ex-girlfriend in a parking lot. He confronts her, "Why are you doing this?" She coldly replies, "Everything Sera has should have been mine. You made promises to me, promises you broke. If you don't come back to me, I will tell Sera everything." John's expression darkens. "If you do that, I will kill you." Sera still doesn't know that John was fired because of his ex-girlfriend's false accusations. Since he can't return to work until the investigation is complete, he pretends to leave every day to avoid suspicion. One day, while renovating the house, Sera starts feeling unwell. After taking a test, she discovers she is pregnant. While in the bedroom, she finds the blueprint of the house that John had brought. Examining it, she realizes there is another way to access the basement. She follows the hidden path and finds the entrance. Meanwhile, outside, John's ex-girlfriend arrives. She intends to tell Sera everything. As she steps inside, she sees photos of John and Sera together and also finds the pregnancy test, realizing Sera is expecting a baby. Sera then emerges from the basement, but the house is eerily empty, and the front door is open. Later, John is in his car outside the house when he spots his ex-girlfriend's car. Furious, he assumes she has already told Sera the truth. He follows her, but she drives too fast, and he loses her, making him even angrier. That night, when he returns home, he expects a confrontation. But Sera calmly says, "I found the map you brought. You were trying to access the basement from another way. Promise me you'll never do it again." John agrees. Then, Sera reveals her pregnancy, and John is overjoyed. The next day, John receives a call from his company. John is informed that the sexual harassment allegations made by his ex-girlfriend and colleague were completely baseless. He is now free to return to work. This news makes him very happy, and he resumes his job. However, a week passes and his colleague has been missing since the day he chased her car. One day, while renovating the nursery for their baby, John discovers a bullet hidden behind a picture frame. This sparks a theory in his mind. He tells Sera that the previous owner, Emmett, was left by his wife and son 20 years ago. But John suspects Emmett actually killed them and buried their bodies in the basement. Sera dismisses the idea, saying, "If he had murdered them, the police would have found their bodies by now. We shouldn't dwell on this. Besides, I'm pregnant, and the next few months will be tough for me." John agrees to drop it for now. The next day, the police arrive at their house to investigate. They question John, who answers truthfully. He admits he had a past relationship with his colleague but insists it ended long ago. He also explains that she falsely accused him of harassment. Sera overhears everything. After the police leave, the couple argues. Meanwhile, John's obsession with the basement grows. The unanswered questions about the cellar door keep haunting him. Determined, he visits Emmett, the house's previous owner, and demands to know what's behind that door. Emmett warns him, "This house is cursed. I once had a wonderful life with my wife here, but we divorced. Don't open that door. If you open that door, your contract will be broken, and you'll have to leave the house." Over time, Paul's mental state has deteriorated, leaving John without clear answers. Frustrated, John decides he will open the basement door at any cost. Returning home, he breaks the lock on the cellar door. But before he can open it, Sera strikes him from behind, knocking him unconscious. When John regains consciousness, he finds himself inside the house, with Sera standing before him. Confused, he asks, "Why did you do this?" Sera reveals, "If you open that door, all my secrets would come out." John realizes that Sera was the one who killed his colleague. Shocked, he asks why. Sera confesses, "She came to our house that day, saying she had a right to everything you have now. She wanted to take you away from me. I told her to stop, but she kept repeating it, stepping closer. I panicked, and when I saw the gun in my hand, I shot her. She died instantly." The bullet John had found earlier was from the shot Sera had fired at his ex-girlfriend. She continues, "After killing her, I hid her body in the basement, then took her car and abandoned it deep in the forest." John realizes that the night he chased his ex-girlfriend's car, it was Sera driving. Determined, he says, "I'm going to tell the police everything." Sera smirks, "If you do that, they'll arrest you instead. I'll turn state witness and claim you killed her because she was blackmailing you. You'll take the fall, not me. She wanted to be a part of your life, and you didn't want to lose your family. That's why you killed her and hid her body in the basement. The police will believe everything I say because all the evidence is against you." John realizes that the police will never believe him. Sera gently convinces him, "Our child is about to enter this world. We can start a new life together. I don't want our baby to grow up knowing his father is in prison." John has no choice but to agree. Months pass, and Sera and John host a party to celebrate their upcoming baby. Many guests arrive, and during the event, their neighbor informs them that someone has left a gift on the piano. Inside the envelope, they find the key to the cellar door, sent by Emmett, the previous owner of the house, along with a letter. The letter reads, "You may now open the door, but be prepared to accept and endure the secrets that lie within." They leave the key behind and return to their guests to take photos. Everyone looks happy, except John. His mind is still filled with unanswered questions. This entire story reflects human nature and truth. Every person carries secrets they never want to reveal, for if exposed, a part of their identity, perhaps even a part of themselves they refuse to acknowledge, will be laid bare. These secrets are locked away in their hearts, hidden like a sealed chamber with a key they will never give to anyone. The cellar door symbolizes this part of human nature, a space no one wants anyone else to enter, a truth they wish to keep buried forever. What do you think about this? Share your thoughts in the comments. We hope you enjoyed this story.